Hello and welcome. It's Ollie here from the Crafty Whisk. Today we're going to be playing with the uniquely creative Secret Fairy Garden Kit, which is their new line of Create and Colour kits. It comes with everything you need. You can use things from your stash if you wish. But as you can see here, I did do an unboxing where you can see everything that's in there. And here I have gone and cut out all of the die cuts, the cut apart sheets, the watercolor colouring sheet and the normal colouring sheet. And I'm just going to go through a few cards with you from the examples that are in the book. So it also comes with the cards and envelopes that you need. These are in Australian sizes, so it's 14.8 by 10.5 centimetres. And their papers that come with the kit are measured for the front of the cards. So if you're using American sizing, you will need to mat them. But this will actually cover the whole card front, as you can see here. Now with the example in the book, we need to trim this one down a little bit. So we have a white border on all sides. So you need to bear in mind that you need to trim on either side of the heart a little bit so that it still remains in the centre. And then I sort of went double that on the bottom. So effectively it is a small border on all four edges. I just cut more off the bottom and none off the top. The really good thing with these panels is that it looks like you've already matted and you haven't. It's all designed into the paper. So this one is one of their easy ones. They have easy, medium and hard, and then they've got some other ones that the design team has done as well. So with the easy one, it is just a matter of cutting, then sticking down. I stuck it down crooked. I should have used glue, but I don't like using glue on the thin paper. I prefer to use tape runner. And I did cut these out with my scan and cut, so there's some of them have a little bit of a dodgy excess bit of white on there. And the other things we need for this one is the double-sided foam dots, adhesive dots, so that the fairy stands up from the page, giving it a bit of dimension, and the gemstones that came with the kit, which is silver. The hardest bit for me is getting the little bits off, the little backing strips off. Don't know why I struggle with that, but I do. So what we're going to do first is to put the sentiment strip down first, and that's going to just be flat on the paper, and then the fairy is going to come on top of that. I'm shocking at trying to line things up, so I use my little T-square ruler. And then the fairy just goes on top, and then just add a gemstone in on the side of the sentiment. Now that card is done as per the book, but you guys know me by now. I can't leave things alone. I want to make those little fairy wings shimmer. So I use the Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen, just to give a little bit of shimmer to those wings. And there you go, card one done. Easy peasy. So now card number 2, I'm going to choose from the medium difficulty. And just a word of warning here, I overcomplicate this so much. It is not that hard to do. I realised after the fact that I had missed die cutting one of the cut sheets, and it was full of leaves. And you'll see me searching for these leaves and I can't find them because I forgot to cut them out. So I overcomplicate it by cutting the flower bits apart, which isn't a problem, except this was meant to be a medium hardness card and I made it into weirdly difficult. So don't do me. Go through everything, make sure that you've cut everything out, fussy cut everything out, or use your scan and cut. Or you can overthink it like I did. So no measurements are actually given in the book. You sort of do that on your own. So I just guesstimated. And again, I did overcomplicate that as well because the examples they give you in the book, I think, are true to size. So you can just measure from the examples in the book. But this is the first kit I've done from them, so I've learned a few things along the way, which is what crafting's all about, really, isn't it? So here is where I'm going to start making things weirdly difficult. And these little cut apart sheets, it's done on a really, really nice thickness of card. I'm not exactly sure of what GSM it is, but I think it'd be close to a 300 GSM, which is 110 pounds imperial. They're very sturdy. And like I also said, I'm pretty sure in the unboxing video, you can use them in albums as well and just partially adhere them to your album page so you can use them as tuck spots. Because they give you so many of the die cuts. You can do so many cards with this. They give you 10 cards in the kit, but really you could do so much more. Oh, now the kits are at the moment, as of February 2023, the kits are 39 Australian dollars, and you can buy the digital downloads for $2, which is the watercolor cut apart sheet and the normal cut apart sheet that you color in. So you can buy those digital downloads and then you can resize them, do whatever you want with them, which is really, really good. I didn't opt for that in this one. Like I said in the unboxing, fairies are not my thing. I don't have any small girls that I can give these sort of cards to, but I did like the flowers. I think they're really, really lovely. But you can go back later and you can always buy the digital download. And here I didn't want to waste that whole cut apart, so I chopped it because you're not going to see most of it anyway. And I can use that other little bit for something else. So now it's time to stick everything down. So the only extra things I used in the kit, that weren't in the kit, sorry, is glue, tape runner, and your basic stock of things like scissors, trimmer, all that kind of thing. You can do it all with the foam dots if you want, but that's way too much. Makes the card too heavy for me. I like to have some things actually stuck down properly and then just the foreground stuff standing up on foam dots, just so it goes through the post easier. Now you'll see me also struggle with the glue today. It was a really, really hot day. I think it was the 40-degree day we had, and my glue was just running everywhere. So I had excess glue on things. I'd have a paper towel next to me so that I could wipe the glue off a little bit. It was a nightmare. Really struggled. And my apologies if you can hear Orion in the background. He's just decided to pay me a visit. He's either coming in when I'm filming and sitting on my work, or he's demanding attention when I'm trying to do the voiceovers. So you'll probably hear him chirping away a little bit in the background because I don't want him sitting on top of the laptop. And it's nice and warm, so that's where he wants to be. So here you can sort of see that I've got some things glued down flat, and then I'm starting to raise other elements up off of the card. And if you wish, you can actually use two of the foam dots on top of each other if you want even more depth. I'm so glad I've got this little creative memories tool. It makes my life so much easier. I've tried the little stick or the Tim Holtz little pokey tool, but I end up stabbing myself with that more often than not. Whereas with the Creative Memories one, it's just really thin and flat on the end. So it's really easy for me to use. Again, I've just cut a little bit off because that's going to be behind the sentiment where I've chopped, so you're not going to notice that it's chopped off. And here is where I was trying to figure out the leaf situation without realizing at the time that I hadn't actually cut the leaves out. So I've just chopped them from one end of the flower and I'm just putting them underneath on the other side. So you can do whatever you like. I was trying to be true to what they had in the book for you, but we adapt, don't we? And because the flowers are raised, I can just guide those little bits of leaf underneath with some tweezers. Really easy. So I'm just seeing where the sentiment's going to sit, if I need to add any more anywhere, and I do. So again, I'm just going to chop up some of the leaves. And if you're careful with how you cut them up, you can still use the other piece very easily. The sentiment was also in the kit. And I don't want that raised anymore from the card, so I'm just going to glue that straight down onto the raised flowers. But where the L and the E are, it's not supported underneath because there was no raised element there. So I am going to need to put a little foam dot under there, which you'll see me do now. Because I realised it wasn't being supported, and it kind of needed to be if it's being posted. So now the ribbon element, I don't know about you, but I can't tie a bow for the life of me. They always come out crooked, or the tail goes one way and the tail of the other side goes the other way. I'm really bad at it. So I don't tend to do ribbon bows on anything. I do paper bows. They're easier. And because I don't do ribbon bows, I didn't know how to adhere it down to the card. I thought glue would be a good option. It wasn't. I thought the foam dot would be a good option. Again, it wasn't. It just kept coming off, and I was getting quite cranky with it by the end. So after the fact, the next day in fact, I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I do the diamond painting and I've got the glue dots. So I used a glue dot, and eureka, that works. The glue dot works. The bow is still on there. So there you go. That's the card roughly the same as what's in the book. Again, I can't leave it be. I wanted that smile sentiment to sort of pop a little bit more, make it look like it was embossed. Now, the easiest way to make it look like it's embossed without actually embossing it is to use Glossy Accents, because it makes it shine and it actually gives it a little bit of depth or loft. It raises it a little bit. You can sort of see it there, how it's nice and shiny and looking like it's embossed. So the third card is going to be out of the hard section, and I actually found it the easiest. I don't know why I found it the easiest, but I can't actually figure out why it was in the hard section, because there was really not a lot of trimming involved. The medium one I thought was harder than this hard one. Maybe that's just me. Let me know in the comments what you think. So it's just a straightforward sticking it down because it's already the correct size of the card. And then it's a matter of finding the fairy. And the little group of flowers that she's sitting in. So I glued the flowers straight down to the card, and I popped the fairy up onto the foam dots so that she's raised from the flowers. Now you don't have to use the foam dots. You can glue everything as one layer as well. It's do it how you want to do it. So she just goes there. And then a little dragonfly goes in the top corner. And I popped him up onto foam dots as well. Now for the sentiments, as we discovered in my foiling experimenting, the sentiment sheet that comes with the kit is not foilable. Unlike their other ones, the creative cuts that normally you buy from them, they are foilable. I'll link that foiling video here as well. So with their cut apart sheets, they do have dies that cut them out. So there's a cut apart essentials number 5 and a cut apart essentials number 6. Number 5 is the rectangles and number 6 is the circles. Now you can use these for anything. You don't have to just use them to cut out their cut apart sheets. The circles is a really cute one if you want to have a card and have little critters or something or sayings behind the openings in the card. You can use it for shaker cards. The little rectangles give perfect strips, so you can use them for anything you need strips for. It doesn't have to be just for the sentiments. Now the hardest thing on this card is the sentiment strip because they've done it as a, I'm not sure what you call it, but it's a banner which is folded so that it actually has like a 3D look to it. And even this wasn't hard. So I've just cut the little tails in, and with a little bit of the white card, I'm just going to show you how to do it. You can use a scoreboard, which I'll show you as well, or you can just do it in your fingers. You just do a little Z fold. So fold it one way and then fold it the other way. You create a little Z and do the same thing on the other side. And that is how you make a 3D banner. Easy peasy. With a scoreboard, you just score where you want your folds to be and then fold them. It will just give you a crisper look, but this little piece was so small that it really didn't make any difference if I had have done it just with my hands or with the scoring board. I just thought I'd show you both ways. There you go. That's with the scoreboard. The same thing, just done with the board rather than the fingers. And this just goes over her feet, so it doesn't look like she's sort of on top of the flowers. It looks like she's within the flowers. It gives you kind of a, it hides the fact that you've just stuck the fairy on top, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm using the foam dots in the centre because I do need that bit to be raised. And then I'll just use glue on the tails because they sit flat to the card. Now what I personally would do next time, rather than using foam dots, I would use a foam strip because I found with the dots you could see where each dot was, but that's just me being picky. With the foam strip you wouldn't have noticed. You can kind of see what I mean, I think, there, how it's a bit bumpy. A foam strip would have been better, but I was trying to use pretty much what came with the kit. So I'm just going to add some gemstones like in the example, they're on her wand and then going out from her wand as though she's just granted somebody a wish. And of course, I can't leave it alone. That basically is the card done according to the book. I just added a little bit of a trail to show where the dragonfly had gone from. And I also wanted the wings to sparkle on the fairy and the dragonfly. Now I showed you before with the Nuvo Aqua Shimmer. This time I'm actually using a glitter glue. And it's called Crystalline. And I'm just sort of moving it around with the pokey tool from Tim Holtz. It's pretty much all I use this tool for. Oh, and poking out fiddly die cuts as well. But the glitter glue comes out quite thick, so I thought it'd be easier just to do with this. You can also just use a toothpick or the end of a pencil or something. And now for me, that card is done. It's a bit hard to show the shimmer from the wings, but it actually stands out more with the glitter glue than it does with the Aqua Shimmer. So that's the 3 cards that we've done. Now the last card in the book does have this mint green bow. I tied the bow, but then I opted not to use it because I didn't really think it added anything to the card for me. Plus I was fed up of the other one and the smile card falling off all the time. But now that I know you can use glue dots, maybe I'll use ribbon a little bit more. I don't know. So this is just 3 examples of what's in the book. There's a lot more in the book. They guide you with exactly what you need. At the bottom of the page, it tells you what you're going to need. Or you can go rogue, do your own thing. Which is, I think, what I'll be doing for the rest of them. I'll just go rogue and I might mix it up with some stamping and some embossing, all that kind of thing. But for 30 minutes with 3 cards, it's great. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and like and share, please. See you next time.